Hello, welcome to another episode of Personality Typing with Habib. So, today we're going to be talking about Javier Bardem, who is an actor, and we're going to see what kind of personality type he's going to have. And before that, we usually go over the previous episode just for a little bit, and then we're going to get right into the clips. The disclaimer is that there's no type guarantees in terms of accuracy. So without further ado, the previous episode was on Sabrina Sovati, aka Sabby Sabs, who is a YouTuber. I have her as an ENFP of some kind. I think this is somewhat close to her type. Consume, play, blast is the other consideration. I don't know if she's information dominant or energy dominant. But otherwise, I feel pretty good about it for the most part. Very good at reporting the news and things like this. I think social type 3s are very good at that. Moving on, we have first impressions of Javier Bardem. First impressions of Javier is he's some kind of beta quadra person. So that includes the STPs, whether it's ISTP or ESTP, as well as the INFJs or the ENFJs. Here we have the ENFJs he reminds me of, including John Paul DeJoria and Richard Branson. And the ESTPs he reminds me of are Alex Hermosi and Bedros Keuilian. I also threw in there an ISTP, Anthony Bourdain, because it feels not too far off from what Javier Bardem has going on. It's kind of this masculine beta quadra type person, except Javier, I'm not going to get into it too much, but he feels to me at least like a very friendly social 4. So that's like a very friendly type. So that's kind of like a subtype within the larger personality type, or which cognitive functions he's using. He's also a friendly person on top of all that. So now we're going to get into the clips, just getting to know Javier. He's a really good actor. I really liked him in Dune, but he was also in a bunch of other movies, including James Bond. So we're going to look at the first video with Daniel Craig. I think that's his name. But he's an ISTP, Daniel Craig is. And let's see how they're getting along. So ISTPs are going to have TI first as their first function. And we're primarily going to focus on that. But this person does have SE as a second function. But that's going to be less about the focus. We're going to try to see, is this Javier Bardem on the TI-FE axis? Is he kind of communicating in this particular way? Let's take a look.
Actor, but that's my life. I mean,
No.
What a team. I felt so protected, so welcome, so taken care of by you guys, because you've been rolling the ball for a long time. I will never forget how beautiful and supportive you were in every way, but especially in the famous scene of the elevator.
Hello, James. Welcome. Do you like the island?
Where I have to just walk and talk in a foreign language in one shot.
And you did it beautifully. You did it beautifully over and over and over again. But I remember you saying this thing, and I thought it made me laugh so much, and I related to it so much. Is you did it, and Sam shouted "cut," and you went, "No, no, 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 no." I was saying the Oscar speech in that in my head. Do you remember that? You said you got very pleased with yourself, and you were saying as you were doing it, you were saying the Oscar speech. And I was like, "That's bravo!" With that voice going, "God, you're good."
Oh my God, you're nailing it. Oh my God, what is the tuxedo? What brand I'm gonna wear?
The best ones are always when they go, "What are you thinking?" You go, I don't know. I have no
Absolutely. Idea. And I remember that we did several takes, and there were many mistakes in it. One word there, or whatever. And then the day after, I begged Sam to repeat it, and he said, "Okay, we'll do one take." And then that was a take that is in the movie, and you were like trapped on a chair, and of course the camera is not seeing your face while.
All right. So I'm just going to say that was like some kind of FETI talk going back and forth. And yeah, it's a good interview to look at for the type. I'm going to include that in the description. But we're going to keep things moving. And at least, that's one data point on, hey, this might be on the TIFE axis somewhere, Javier is able to talk to Daniel Craig in that way. And in this clip, we're going to be looking at Javier Bardem talking to someone who also speaks Spanish, and that's their native language. And you're going to see how Javier is a lot more comfortable speaking in Spanish, but we're just going to be talking about things on top of that. And are we getting a better sense of how Javier feels about things, or are we getting his insights as far as like what he's thinking and his logic and his reasons? That is kind of the coin we're going after here. And we're still getting to know Javier, so we're warming up.
There's something that happens when I hear rolling that I go like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Holy
We
shit.
both have the same problem when they say action and we have to perform in English. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm saying this because you just said that. Still today, 56 years old,
Yeah.
the English it's a weight that you have to carry in order to be able to be relaxed with it. No, like it's not in your system in some ways.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to create it. You have to build it up. You have to be comfortable in something that you are consciously creating. When performing is the opposite of consciousness. No?
It's reacting, it's
It's-
living it.
exactly.
It's your instincts are not in English. It's interesting because also there's something else that kicks in, I guess, as an actor, no? That a way to protect yourself from not having those tools. Probably, do you prepare differently?
Absolutely.
No, you prepare deeper and more kind of like.
That's true. And also, I don't know about you, but for me, in a way, I'm less shy in English than in Spanish.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
How come?
because I don't know, because in Spanish, I feel like I can't hide myself in some ways, in so funny ways. But in English, I can. It's like, okay, it's the language barrier. That's not me. I don't know how to explain it, but for me, it's in a way easier to take risks in English than in Spanish somehow. I don't know why, but based on your face, that doesn't happen to you.
No,
Yeah, the other guy disagrees there. But it's funny because Javier Bardem is trying to hide in English where he does feel more comfortable in Spanish, but he's more willing to take risks when he's acting in English. And when we finally get down to the type, there's a certain, I talk about judging versus perceiving as an important coin that MBTI did point out. And I feel that, judgers are generally hiding in some kind of way and perceivers are a bit more open. That's at least what I'm seeing. I mean, it almost sounds like shots fired, but there's something there where, well, at least when you get to the final guess of what I have for Javier's type, there's at least a layer of this. Now, everyone can do everything, and whatever I'm picking up here might be wrong, but it's just interesting to me that Javier Bardem is using the English language to hide. So I don't know what that's about, really, but it's definitely interesting. What I was picking up is that he is talking about his feelings generally about but he's also talking about tools. So it's very hard to see which side is up and which side is down, but at least I'm seeing that there's feeling overthinking here. But from the same interview, the next clip is actually going to show you something a lot more of this masculine punch of what Javier's got going on in terms of his potentially masculine sensing and masculine feeling somewhere in the stack. It's going to show a clip of him from a movie, and just take a look of that. And yeah, let me know what you think.
The fact that I have a couple of scenes in Cuban, I have to work the Cuban accent. Those scenes were the difficult ones.
That suddenly connects with the way you said "mama," "papa" in your life.
It's like, oh God, oh shit. Now I can test what it sounds real and what it doesn't, because I have a connection with the language, even if it's a different accent.
Yes.
But with English, it's a different game, I think.
it's incredible because everything you're saying that it brought you peace and allowed you to play, and it's what makes it very scary and and haunting.
Right.
It's the opposite. Now I blame you, but I had nightmares that you should have had as an actor, not me as
I was having a
as
good
audience.
time.
It's like
So, you know what I think when you complain that I hit you? I think that I didn't hit you hard enough.
I saw the whole thing and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah,
holy shit, how much can be hidden, you know, in like these big personality people, like the character you play that fills the room and comes in, and it's always putting an act, and what's hiding behind those characters, you know. It made me think about many people I know,
Of course.
and in the music business that you know is so like boom, boom, and you go like shit, what nightmares is
and
that
also,
hiding?
and also I think it represents a kind of a type of man machismo that we know very much of because of the countries that we're coming from. They are very present even today. For example, in Spain, there are like lots of murders of women being murdered by their ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends, or a lot of that still today, unfortunately, like a horrible, huge number of them.
Yeah, so that was good in terms of like tracking the masculine sensing or the masculine SF. Like you could see he's pulling up examples of like, hey, I've been through this before. I've seen people who are like this, and he's able to act that on screen. And that's the key word, acting, you know. And it's very important to portray some of these darker characters. And, you know, I just think it's very interesting that, you know, Javier Bardem is potentially that social 4 type, and I think those people are very good at portraying, you know, evil, and he does a really great job in the acting. But I also think that it's the masculine SF punch that he's capturing, that aggression, that testosterone, that, you know, completely like animalistic energy. And yeah, I just think Javier is really great at that. So in the next clip, we're actually going to get a little bit into, it's only going to be 2 minutes, but it's going to be him talking a little bit about his voice, at least when it comes to activism. He's going to get asked on The View. So if you're sensitive to this kind of stuff, you know, you can, you know, watch a different video or skip to the next part. But anyway, we're going to have 2 minutes on this, see what Javier is doing. I think he's using his masculine tribe function. And why do we even have people with masculine tribe? You get to see it here, where it's kind of advocating for others at its best, at least.
Yeah, you have been a long-time activist. You're not just an actor and a pretty face. You are an activist.
Thank you for the pretty face.
I've seen.
Thank you. You've been way too generous for that.
I've actually seen you do it in English and in Spanish. That's another thing you've done in both languages, for a variety of causes. And there's plenty of things to speak up about here in this country. We can't stop talking about immigration, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
Our community is being hunted down.
Yes.
But there's so many things that are important to you. Why is it so important for you to use your voice?
I don't think it's about using the voice, which it is. It's about decency, to be decent as a human being, and to not forget your humanity, and also the right we have as citizens to really, as you were saying before, draw a line in the sand. So the politicians and those who are supposed to represent us know that we are the voice and they have to hurt us. And basically what is going on in the world today is very much a lot of a deaf tone coming from them and not hearing what we have to say. For example, the situation in Gaza, which I see your, and of course they have to return those hostages, obviously. But the situation in Gaza is come to a term now where I cannot express the pain that I, along with many millions of people there, suffered on a daily basis watching those horrible images of children being murdered and starving to death, being absolutely blocked the aid of medicines, water, medical material,
Food.
Kids that have been amputated without anesthesia. People that yesterday they were shot, 25 people were shot while they were looking for humanitarian aid in what they call the Hunger Games. I mean, experts on international law, experts on international Amnesty International, international human rights, and some people that know what they're talking, and Holocaust survivors are calling a genocide for it. And if you ask me, I believe it's a genocide. Why is that? First of all, because the impunity that is taking Israel in doing these actions and the lack of action on any government is, of course, the backup of the United States with all these weapons and the economics, and also the silence of Europe, is creating in a scenario where there's such an impunity that if we really don't do something about that, we are going towards what is happening now. And an absolute impunity on creating wars all over and creating so much pain that is going to affect so many people.
Yeah.
But also, and with this I will finish, the most important thing is to not lose the humanity and really denounce when we have to denounce and who we have to denounce.
Javier, come back. Javier's movie, F1, is in theaters in IMAX June 27th.
All right, that was powerful. Damn. So yeah, that is the role of masculine tribe. And you see Whoopi at the end there. She, is kind of riffing on that. She's also double masculine. And well, at least I'm thinking that Javier Bardem is double masculine. Okay. And so it's just such a powerful thing. And when you have a platform, you want to use it for good. And it's very impressive that Javier is making the brave choice, making the courageous choice to speak up for people who don't have as much of a voice. And I think it's really great. And he's consistently doing that. And that's the power of masculine tribe. Every function can be used incorrectly or badly, but anyway. The next clip we're going to be moving into is the last one, and it's more of a funny one, I guess. But yeah, I couldn't really nail down whether Javier Bardem is a decider or an observer. So you can also think of this, at least in this case, is he a judger or perceiver? And so one of the other things that's going to be very evident in this clip is I'm seeing the extroverted feeling and I'm seeing friends. So that's the fun part. And yeah, let's watch the last clip and see what we think.
Who have been the people that you've met when you achieved this level where you go into these premieres, you're going to these places, and there's an actor that you idolized and they look at you and they're excited to see you when they come over? Is anyone who pops for you where you think, oh my God?
Well, I have Conan O'Brien.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
I mean,
well, that was a big moment for you.
That was a big moment for me, and it's always a big moment.
Okay, that's the peak, but what's near the peak?
That's near the gods stuff. Now talking about humans, I will say Al Pacino.
Yes,
Al Pacino. Al Pacino sent me a phone. He called me after watching Before Night Falls, but it was 2:00 in the morning in Spain, and it was a time where there was a tape, an answering machine with tape.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So I was sleeping. I was like, who's calling? And then, hi Javier, it's Al Pacino. Yeah. And they were like,
yeah.
And I couldn't get the phone. Like, Al Pacino is calling my home. I saw the movie. I liked it a lot. And congratulations. I was like, and then I went and I play it again and I play it again. And I have the tape.
Yeah.
So the first day I met him in Toronto Film Festival, I went to the toilet and I took a picture with a camera, no phones at the time, of my face in the mirror, because my face was like, I'm going to meet Al Pacino. And the good thing about it all is that he's such a wonderful man.
Yes, yeah.
So when you meet someone that you admire so much, you go, and he's even better that you would imagine.
Yeah, he my first encounter with him, because I, grew up on the Godfather movies and then Serpico, and it just, Dog Day Afternoon, and it just, he is such a
Okay, and then they just kind of talk about Al Pacino for a while, which, what type does that? If you're tribe above self, you really don't mind talking about other people. You can get into more details about others than you can about yourself. That's why a lot of tribe above self people do a lot of deflecting. because all the attention on me is a little uncomfortable. And so let's shine the light on somebody else. And in combination with friends, that's a lot. So, yeah, and Conan has his own story. I'm going to be linking the videos in the description if you want to finish watching any of these. But yeah, so narrowing down the guess. So before I do that, I will say that Lily has a really good video on Javier Bardem. I'm going to link that as well in the description. And I didn't get a type that's really far from what she guessed. But yeah, let's see. So my guess, at least I'm starting out with seeing SE, at least I can tell that it's probably not introverted intuition as a savior, but I do see it. We didn't talk about it much. It's hard to prove every coin because there's so many. But yeah, I'm seeing the extroverted sensing. He's pulling up data, in a savior state. He cares about the examples, the data points, the facts, the evidence. It's piling up. And I'm also seeing play consume because he is able to go back and forth with other people, and I'm seeing him take in information. And when Conan talks for a while there, he's just sitting back and taking it all in. So the next narrow down is extrovert and info dominant. Now, I could be wrong here. He could be blast last. I don't know. But at least from what I was seeing is that he was running around keeping up with a lot of things going on, and that kind of leans towards sleep last instead of blast last. He's very productive, and yeah, you have a lot of blast last people who can be productive, not a lot, but but I just feel like he wasn't tripping up. He was able to get his sentences out. He was able to explain things. He was able to promote his work at least a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but at least I'm seeing information dominant. Like, I left the conversation knowing a little bit more about different situations, and I didn't see that he was prioritizing his sleep work balance. Anyway, the final narrow down, it's really difficult here because observer decider was hard for me. But I was seeing at least tribe above self, and so we can get there. And so I'll say that Lily's guess is somewhere in here, but I ended up going another way. And the thing that I was seeing was potentially a decider instead of an observer. I didn't really prove it that much in the clips because I'm not really sure, but it seemed to me at least that Javier was gravitating a little bit more towards the people side of the discussion. He wasn't really looking that much at like the things versus over the people. He wasn't caring that much about the system. He cared a lot about the individuals, the people, and he brought the conversation back to there. Now, I'm not sure I can prove that, and I could very well see that I could have this coin wrong. But otherwise, my first guess is double masculine, FESE, play, consume, blast, sleep last, number 4. So yeah, it's finally, I'm getting to type sensors, people who have sensing over intuition. Now, he could be SEFE instead, which I have as an alternate guess here, but my final guess really is that FESE version. And yeah, so that's an ENFJ jumper rather than an ESTP jumper, but they're both like basically in the beta quadrant. And the SEFE functions, they're very good at, commenting on style, fashion, gruesome things, just the SF, the animalistic side. He's able to comment on that. And that's why you see him playing in the James Bond movie. That's why he was able to play a serial killer. Just he has access to the animalistic side. At least, a lot of people can do those things, but the way he does it is more through that SF play animalistic side. And yeah, the number 4 is, I think, a big deal. It makes him, at least for me, very watchable in terms of he's very like down to earth, humble. It can be a bit much, and you kind of do want to take a stand, which he does, which is why I included that clip there. Is if you are getting a lot of attention and you're getting a platform and you're getting paid a lot of money, what are you going to use that platform for? And yeah, I just think he's doing a great job with everything, and that's why I chose to type him. And yeah, Javier Bardem, it's been fun to go through his personality type. Let me know what you think of his type. I'd love to hear about it. Or maybe there's a coin or two that I have off that you want to tell me about. In 2 weeks, the next person we're going to be typing is another actor or actress, Rachel Zegler. She played Snow White, which I did not watch, to be honest, but I think she's able to use her platform also to speak up for Gaza and Palestine, and I think that that's really impressive. And yeah, I'm curious about what her work is, and she's very young, so we'll probably be seeing a lot more of her. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what you think. And I do have a special announcement for January 2026. Happy New Year, first of all. Happy 2026. I am running a 30-day challenge for the personality community. And basically, it's a Facebook group where we work on our goals, and I pair people up with accountability partners. You submit a form where you say what kind of partner you want, and then you kind of just work with each other over the next 30 days. And yeah, you can share updates in the group optionally, but you'll see a bunch of other people sharing what they're doing for January, week to week. And yeah, it just adds the extra layer of personality type talk on top of accountability. So if you really want to get something done this year, if you actually want to hit the ground running and you want a little bit of support, just that little bit of support from another human can really help a lot. And yeah, so it is through Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, I'll have to work something out in future years. I've run this challenge before a couple of times. So this is my 3rd year running it. And yeah, if you're interested, just check the link in the description. And yeah, well, whether you join or not, I wish you a good and happy new year. Happy 2026. All kinds of crazy stuff is happening, but you're going to rise above it. We're all going to rise above it and support each other. So thank you for watching. And I got to say, like and subscribe.